The Mike North Show every Sunday night at 9 o'clock on AM 560 WIND. You can hear him with Steve Cochran Friday afternoons and watch his daily 30 and 5 video commentaries at 560WIND.com. Katie, do we have Mr. North there? Mike, good morning. How are you?
Hello, my friends. How are you?
We are doing very well. Amy's quite disgusted with the sanctions against Penn State after having a day or so to digest them. What do you think?
Well, I wrote in the paper, I said they got away, I think, with a pretty lenient situation. I mean, if you look at it, John, USC was a sanction for 2 years. They lost 15 scholarships a year because Reggie Bush's parents lived in a house that, that USC had rigged up for them. They're also they had bowl bans and everything else. Well, so did Penn State. Next year, Penn State's running out of the tunnel. Next year, they're going to have football because that area there, if they have no football, they're in trouble. I mean, they are done. I've been down there. That whole part of that state lives off Penn State. But on top of that, I happen to think that not only playing football there next year, but having bowls gone for 4 years, big deal. Big deal.
Let's talk about it from the financial issue here.
Absolutely.
If you roll it up to $100 million, all said and done after the civil lawsuits are coming, and you round up as far as their endowment, you're looking at about 5% of their total endowment is going to go to this. So
they do $1.8 billion a year as far as grants are concerned, and you're talking about a $60 million. I thought maybe $60 million a year. $60 million for the first year, and then we're done. You guys can run out of tunnel. Let's play football, and in 4 years, you'll be back on your feet. I mean, the death penalty, if Emmert was going to get involved, guys, the NCAA president, the death penalty, take him away for a year. That cripples them. They have to start all over. That would have sent more of a message to me. I mean, there's been schools. I mean, SMU got a bigger fine put on it, and they had a death penalty put on them for illegal recruiting of Eric Dickerson and Craig James back in the day. They had a worse deal than Penn State did.
No, I think that this is going to cripple that program for at least a decade.
USC's back, Amy, after 3 years, and they're in the top 5.
I mean, this is nothing like we've ever seen in the history of college football, taking down the trophy.
Right.
And then, it hurts the female programs because the money, Mike, that's generated from those football games helps dole out scholarships for women's sports.
That's the deal they cut.
That's the sad part.
That's the deal they cut with the NCAA. If they go on the death penalty, the programs are nil. If they go on that football team produces money for everything else, i.e. maybe not the basketball team, but the girls' tennis team, the volleyball team for the men and the women. Everything supplied by football. So you're right. If they put the death penalty down, it really screws everybody up. And I think this was something that they talked with the NCAA because everything came down within 10 days. The statute was down. Everything was in place. The sanctions were put in. And I agree with you. The reason they didn't do it, it would have hurt the other non-revenue sports.
But I think it's so ridiculous when they say, and on top of that, we're going to expunge their record from 1998
Well, that's
to
the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
And Bobby Bowden sitting there going, yep, now I'm the most winningest coach, because he called for the paternal statute to be taken down. He called for the wins to be taken away, and now he's the winningest
called for
coach.
them. Maybe they might have to move. Yeah. They might have to move. I mean, Foghorn and Leghorn screaming from the top. Here's a guy that when you think about illegal and you think about college football, he's at the top of the list. But the paternal thing's a whole
how
different.
many kids were raped when he was watching?
Well, none. That's the deal, John.
There we go.
But you know what, John?
But he was shady.
That's the deal, okay? Of course, he's not as bad, but they've had issues.
They all have issues. The whole thing, in my opinion, college football at that level, it's corrupt top to bottom. Joe Paterno got what was coming to him. He's lucky he died before all the stuff hit.
Well, I wish he wouldn't have, so he could have had a time to at least defend himself. Because then if he defends it, because you know what? To me, I didn't know you got 2-3 emails. Hey, Joe, I didn't know. I heard Joey Paterno couldn't send emails. Now apparently he sends emails.
Yeah, look,
it's all screwed up. And by the way, Penn State hired Louis Freeh and gave him $7 million.
Well,
that's a lot of money for 8 months' work.
Look, I'll tell you, I think they got off light.
I do too.
And as far as the bowl stuff and the scholarships and everything else. So, and all those women's programs benefit for years when they were covering up for a child rapist. So they got their piece of the action too.
Yeah, the school didn't collapse, and the school's not going to collapse. And and here's where I disagree with Amy. USC was put on probation after Reggie Bush. They're a top 5 team now. They'll get healthy real quick. And
these Penn State alum will write huge checks because there's a bunker mentality now.
You're exactly right. Right now, the word I'm getting, those people are hunkering down, and they want Penn State back on top in 4 or 5 years.
Mike North, thanks so much.
All right, guys.
Appreciate it. Read him in the Daily Herald. Mike North here at WIND 753.